Welcome to this week's art lesson. We're going to be doing the art lessons slightly differently from now on, and I've been asked to do 3 different art lessons, one for primary 1 and 2, one for primary 3, 4 and 5, and one for primary 6, 7. But we'll all start, I'm going to always try and start with the same piece of art, so you can still do that piece together, and I'm going to try and keep the tasks as similar as possible, so you shouldn't need lots of different materials. And if you want to work on a task that's not at the level if you want to do a primary 3 task and you're in primary 1 or 2, that's absolutely fine. You can choose what you want to do. So, as always, we're going to start by looking at a piece of artwork. So this is going to be the same no matter which class you're in, whether you're in primary 1 or primary 7. You can have a look at it, and we're going to talk about the same 4 things. So it is the subject, the media used, the visual elements, and the personal response. What are your feelings and thoughts? So let's have a look at the artwork that we're going to look at today. It's a really famous painting, so you might have seen this one. And here is the piece of artwork here. So what I'm going to get you to do is have a really close look at the artwork and think about what you can see in the artwork. As there's not an awful lot in this one, you might also want to be thinking about, are there any clues in the artwork? Are there any clues to when it was painted? Which season it was painted in? Which century it was painted in? Is it modern? Do you think it was maybe painted 100 years ago, 200 years ago? What clues are there to help you to come to those conclusions? So have a really close look at the artwork, say what you can see, and pause the video for a moment to give yourself time to think about that. Okay, so we're going to move on now to the next slide. And this time we're going to say, what media did the artist use? So looking at this piece of artwork here, you're going to think, when we talk about the media, we're thinking, is it a painting? If it's a painting, was it oil paints? Do you think it was watercolor paints? Could it have been done in pastels? Could it be pencil? Chalk? Could it be a print? We've done some printing in school. Could it be a collage? Is it made of clay? Is it a photograph? Is it fabric? How do you think this piece of artwork was created? Pause the video if you need some time to think about that. Okay, so this piece of artwork is an oil painting. Okay, and you can see this piece of artwork, unfortunately not at the moment because all the galleries are closed, but when they reopen you can see this piece of artwork at the National Gallery in Edinburgh. So if you wanted to go and have a look at it, see it up close, you can do that once the galleries have opened again. Okay, let's have a look at the next slide. So, which visual element is strongest? There is no right or wrong answer here. When we do this in class, there's always somebody who has a different opinion, and that's absolutely fine. Okay, so the 4 visual elements we're going to look at. So imagine you've got your visual element gallery and you've got 4 rooms, and you've got to decide in your gallery where you're going to put this piece of artwork. Are you going to put it in the line room? Do you think this piece of art is all about line? What about colour? Would you put it in your colour room? And would you perhaps put it in the pattern or texture room of your gallery? Or would you put it in your shape or form room? So have a close look. I think this one, there might be some different answers here actually. Have a think where you're going to put it, and pause the video if you need some time to decide. Okay, I'm going to move the slide on now and have a look at it. What does this artwork make you think about or make you feel? So as you're looking at the artwork, what kind of mood do you feel is in the artwork? You know, does it make you feel bright and uplifted, or is it a bit sadder? Make you feel a bit more thoughtful? Why is that? Is it something to do with the colours? Is it something to do with the expression on the face of the person in the artwork? What are they thinking about? How are they feeling at the moment? Why do you think that is? Why are they feeling that way? What clues do you have when you look at the painting? So perhaps you want to ask someone else in your house as well what the artwork makes them think about or feel, because they might have a completely different idea from yours. Okay, so we're going to have a look at the last slide, and I'll tell you the name of the painting and the name of the artist. So the name of this painting is The Skating Minister, and it's by Henry Raeburn. Okay, so we're going to move on now to one of our tasks. So you can choose the primary 1 and 2 task, primary 3, 4, 5 task, or primary 6 or 7 task. See which one that you're going to do today. Thank you. Hi there, primary 6 and 7. This week we are going to do some sketching. We're going to do some drawing, and we're really going to be looking at the human body. And we're going to be thinking about the scales within the human body, the proportions, and we are going to try and use the artwork that we looked at to start with, The Skating Minister by Henry Raeburn. We're going to have a look at that, and then we're going to try and practice some quick sketches of a figure in a similar but not necessarily the same position, and then we're going to have a go at doing a drawing that's going to spend a little bit more time on, and next week we'll hopefully take that on a little bit further. So today is just about playing around, trying to work on proportions. So trying to make sure the legs are the right length and the arms are the right length and the head's the right size, that sort of thing. So I've got a little diagram here, and this has been really helpful. I've used this before, so I just thought it'd be good to have a little look over here. So the average human is about 8 heads tall. So when we've measured this out in class before, we found that it varies quite a lot, but it's normally a bit less than that for your age group. So maybe say 6 or 7 heads tall. So that is including the head. So you can see on here we've got the head 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all the way down there. Okay, so when you start your drawing, I think what often happens is the head is drawn a bit bigger than you think you need it to be. So when you're doing your sketching today, try doing your head just a little bit smaller than you think you need it to be. So maybe even go for thumb size, you know, like your thumbprint size, or smaller, and see how you get on with that. Okay, so you can see here the shoulders are about 2 head heights wide. So the head should, if it was turned on its side, should be able to fit in there twice. So they're quite wide. And the waist is about 1 head height wide. So it's coming in quite a lot from the edge of the shoulders into the waist here. And then you can see there that this part of the body down to the waist is 1, 2 head heights, and the elbows as well, that would be the elbows on here and on here, that would be coming down about 2 head heights as well. And then we've kind of got the abdomen and the lower part of the body onto here, and then the legs. So the legs are about half of the body, so about 4. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, about 4 head heights. And here, and you can have a see on here. I think when we've done this in class before, quite often people draw the arms and their arms kind of stop at the side of their body, just where their waist is. So when we've done this exercise before, I've had people, stopping the arms around about here. But if you just take your hand just now, if you sort of stand up and put your hand onto the side of your body, you feel that it comes really quite far down past your waist onto your thigh. So you can see actually how far it comes down. So we've got the arms coming in here. So this is a really useful sort of illustration to keep coming back to if you're not sure. It's really, really helpful just to keep looking at. Now, for what we're going to do today, we're going to have a little go thinking back to the skier. I can just see here. Sorry, not the skier, the skater, the skating minister. And his body is slightly different, well, quite a bit different from that one, because he's not facing us straight on. So his shoulders wouldn't be quite as wide as the rest of his body, because he's kind of standing looking at us from the side. This leg here is pointing backwards a bit, so that foot looks a bit smaller than that foot, so it looks like that's kind of pointing away from us. And so if you have a think, I suppose if you're thinking about measuring in heads, we're thinking from there all the way down through to here would almost be our kind of straight line through the body. That's knees slightly bent there, but it's more or less kind of straight line going down, so that might help us a little bit with our measuring. This knee is slightly bent, and that'll be the knee here, and that one's slightly bent away. Can't really see much on the arms on here, so it looks like his arms are kind of either folded in front or not sure where the other arm is, perhaps at his side. We can't really tell just by looking on here. But we could perhaps just have our arms coming down. So we're not trying to copy this, but we're just using it as a starting point just to see how we can get on. Oops. There we go. How we can get on having a go at putting some of these proportions in to our work. So what you're going to need to get started is some plain paper, just some white, well, it doesn't have to be white, any colour of paper. A4 is probably best. Some pencils, so just some sketching pencils, anything that you've got. And don't bother with a rubber, let's just do some loose sketching. If you want a rubber for later on, you could get one, but try not to have it near you, because if you have a rubber near you, you might spend a lot of time rubbing out. It's much better just to kind of draw lightly and kind of work on top of what you've already drawn. Okay, so we're going to get started on the drawing task now.